Hello friends, and welcome back to Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So we began our adventure on the last episode. We got the plot all figured out, and we are starting with our early Shadow Pokemon collection here. The first two we have up in the front are the first two, for sure, permanent members of the team. This Poochyena here, which was just a fresh catch, and Ledyba, which has been on our team for at least a little bit. So we will now continue the adventure throughout Gateon here first, just finish up our exploration. And then we will make our way to the next location with which we were told to go to. That would be Agate Village. For anyone who has played Pokemon Colosseum before, that was one of the towns you had to go to. So we will be visiting our first location that we have some prior knowledge of. And I myself am really happy for that because Agate Village is one of my favorite locations in all of Pokemon media. I don't know why, just it's a secluded location, it's surrounded by nature. And oh yeah, it reveres Celebi in the Relic Grove, like a place that reveres your favorite Pokemon. Like, sign me up, I would live there. There's an island far from the coast of Gateon Port. It's surrounded by vicious ocean currents, however, so no one can go near. Of course, everyone around these parts knows better than to go near that island in the first place. Again, just, he's living out on his own here in that little house, and the only way to get off it is the rotating bridges. If I got that right, I think this will get me back on the mainland? Yes. I figured out the arrows. I feel accomplished. Okay, now I know there's probably a few trainer fights that I could do here. Oh yeah, I think this is the luxury liner that Mr. Farich came on. The sea is wide and its fathoms deep, so full of Pokemon it make you weep. Oh, what's up, kid? Are you captivated by my singing? I'll have you know I placed second at the Krabby Club. I almost called it Krusty Krab. Oh my goodness, the SpongeBob reference is going to be quite apparent. I'll have you know I placed second at the Krabby Club's music contest. Uh-huh, I bet you did. I bet you did indeed. You know how to bring a smile to my face. Have fun singing there, friend. But yeah, we'll do a little bit more exploration here in a bit. I think I'm trying to remember how most of this works. Yeah, this is just a house, right? Yeah, that's where Emily and Acri were. Okay. Oh, hello. I was thinking of a story. I didn't notice you. Investigating Mr. Verich's background, but the man's too much of a mystery. I can't write a novel modeled after him. It's okay to be mysterious, but he's far too murky. I thought I could write an interesting novel this time. If I remember correctly, I think we can come back here later and she'll give us an item if we do an interview or something like that. Anyways, what do we got down here? That luxury cruiser moored behind the parts shop belongs to Mr. Verich. That's all you're gonna say? Okay. Gateon Port's sea breeze feels good, as it always does. On a day like this, a battle is sure to feel fantastic. How about it, sweetie? You want to have a battle against my Pokemon? Sure. Now, unless I am absolutely mistaken, Poochyena and Ledyba were the only two Shadow Pokemon you can get in Gateon Port for the early game. So I don't have to worry about seeing any more Shadow Pokemon, and I can just treat this as a regular fight, which is great because as we discussed on last episode, Shadow moves when used against regular Pokemon are super effective. As you can see there, my heart gauge on Ledyba has been depleted enough to go past the first bar, and that lets you relearn your first move. So I now have Aerial Ace on this Ledyba. And bye-bye Swablu. Now, I definitely do want to see reverse modes as much as I can to get my heart gauge down. So I'll gladly take it. And that almost depletes a full bar. Now, unlike Colosseum, where I would say for greens, like the average heart gauge bar was like 3,000 points in the early game, and then 4,500 points for most regular Pokemon about midway through the game. These Pokemon here, understanding that like you want to get some regular Pokemon on your team soon, and as you can tell, Purification is much more prevalent in the early game as opposed to Colosseum's mid-game. The heart gauges of your early Pokemon are actually a lot lower in comparison to Colosseum. I think Colosseum's heart gauge was probably around like 3,000 in the early game for the Shadow Makuhita. In this game, they're about 1,000 points to begin, so it is much easier to deplete the heart gauge in the early game. But speaking of things getting depleted, I do need to visit a Pokemon Center here real quick. Ah yes, the familiar tune of the Pokemon Center theme. Now, as you have probably noticed on the menu here when I bring it up, we have the ability to save whenever we want. This is another good thing that they changed from Pokemon Colosseum, where we can only save at the PCs. So I can save wherever I want to if I need to. It is so good. Okay, let's continue on here a bit. I'm going to check one more time. Do you randomly now have Pokeballs out on your stock, good sir? Or are you just healing? You're just healing items. Okay. Hopefully I'll see Pokeballs when I go to Agate Village here in just a bit. But I do want to come up here to the Krabby Club. As you can tell, it is a crab-shaped building. Now look here, boy. The Krabby Club is open only to tough trainers. I suppose I could let you win if you beat me in a battle. Let's go for it. To keep up the SpongeBob illusions, welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you? How tough am I? How tough am I? I got a load of Shadow Pokemon here, and they're gonna destroy you. Oh, right this way. Sorry to keep you waiting. Alright, fully healed, heart gauge is dwindling. I like this. And the cool part is, too, the moves that get taught to your Pokemon in this game, compared to Colosseum, I'd say there's a lot more variety in what you get. You might see egg moves, you might actually see unique moves that aren't ordinarily available on the species of Pokemon that you get. Like, it's very good in this game. Well, let's just keep going here with Shadow Blitz for now. That's one of the best things that Ladybot has going for it. Oh no, Growl. Now, while Shadow is not necessarily a type, I'm fairly certain that there are Shadow moves that are designated as physical and Shadow moves designated as special. Hey, look at that, actually. This is, I think this is the first game that properly did the physical special split. But again, the moves themselves aren't typed. Like, they're not a Shadow type. So, I suppose that's fine. Hang on, let me make sure I got that right. There we go. We will take out the Wingull. But it does help, because I remember there are some Pokemon in Colosseum that are, like, defensive Pokemon. They don't, they wouldn't be used for attacks, typically. But the only move they start with is Shadow Rush when you acquire them, so it does make it a lot harder to use defensive Pokemon. But thankfully, Ladybot has some punch. And we'll start the next battle in reverse mode. Okay. I see how that is. I lose. You really are quite wonderful. I'll take the little bit of money while I get it. Although, I definitely want more money later. You're quite strong, I must admit. I sense a fantastic potential in you as a trainer of Pokemon. The more you battle, the stronger your Pokemon shall grow. It is up to you to put in that effort. Also, there is no rule forbidding anyone but tough trainers from entering the Krabby Club. We have so much idle time on our hands, I decided to play a little prank on you. I don't think this is the sailor that got knocked over the ship, but I want to think that's the sailor who got knocked over the ship and is like, let me just do a few battles to cope with how I suffered through that. Yeah, I got a snazzy little tune in here. But I think Mr. Varich is actually up here. I'd have to check. Maybe not. Maybe I went the wrong way. I just wanted to see. Or maybe otherwise? I'm not sure. We're the veteran act of the Krabby Club. We've been here the longest. Our Pokemon Twosome Act remains the world's best for all time. We certainly won't be upstaged by upstarts like the magicians on stage now. Lots of little, like, side plots with characters they put in this game, which really don't do too much, but at the very least, it's like, it's there and there's character. That is pretty cool. Anyways, we're just gonna go in behind the bar here, you know, we can just wander into houses like we own the place. We got a super potion for our trouble, that is nice. But I thought I saw Mr. Varich go in this way, so... Oh yes. Usually, if no ships come to the harbor, my business dries up, but thanks to Mr. Varich, business is booming. Every day, the man treats everyone to free meals and drinks. That Mr. Varich is like a bottomless sack of money. So, this way? Oh, maybe Varich is up here if you show up before the parts quest. So, benefits of early exploration. But speaking of exploration, that now finishes up my time here in Gation Port, for now at least. So why don't we actually continue with our adventure, and we'll go to my favorite location in Ore, Agate Village. As you can see, here's the full map of Ore, where it's kind of expanded more to the northwest, I'm gonna say that at this point. So we will definitely be seeing familiar locations soon. Hello, Agate Village. It's great to see you. Same music and everything, which makes it even better. And of course, they just start with an item here, which is kind of weird, but okay, free Pokeball. Alright, this is Agate Village. We're famous for the Relic Stone. You can consider this a retirement village. Elderly trainers and Pokemon lead quiet lives here. Now, if I'm right, yes. So they do still have the same secrets, which, for anyone who didn't find this in Colosseum because the camera angle was more straight on, you can actually see this cave this time. And I think it even houses something interesting here. Ho ho ho, do you know who I am? I'm the teacher lady. I know many kinds of moves. Are there any moves you wish your Pokemon knew? Ah, yes, what should I teach? So yes, this is a move tutor. So if we need to, we can come here and get some unique moves for Pokemon. I believe it's the same list that can be found in Pokemon Emerald, I want to say. If not Emerald, then Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I believe were the games coming out at the time. I've definitely made use of that move tutor on multiple occasions. Okay, this smart here, it's gotta have Pokeballs, right? No, but you got the sense. Maybe it's because we're still in the early game, can't get Pokeballs yet. But I wouldn't mind getting a few more just in case. Oh yeah, if I remember right, Teddy Ursa has Pickup as an ability. Nothing on it yet. Definitely come here, just like before. Found 3 potions. Anything down here? I heard this child calling for me, so I came running to see what was the matter. Well, I found something quite nice. I know, we should have a battle, and if you can beat me, I'll happily give you what I found. Would you like to give it a try? Now, sure. Ah, yes, a fine answer. Alright, let's keep these battles going. This will help me get my Pokemon purified. Ooh, a Poochyena. I have a Poochyena. Okay, let's go that, and I want to keep calling to get you purified. It is going to be so quick. Almost. Oh no, Poochyena is weak to that move. Ooh, that actually did some damage. Back when Leech Life was a regular starting move, I still remember when I saw that Leech Life was getting buffed from a base 20 move to a base 80 move, and actually like a legitimate move in the later generations. I was like, what? Like, I liked the change, but it was still so jarring. And then what made it even more interesting was seeing the Zubat line, whose signature move is basically Leech Life at this point, starting with Absorb instead, which is arguably more useful, but still just as weak. Alright, I want to call again. This is good, get the bar drained. I want to be able to start gaining experience. Shadow Blitz! Ah, good, just enough. Alright, we have won. Ah, most impressive indeed. Alright, now what is it that you give? I think I know what it is, but I'm curious. Team 09, okay, it wasn't what I was thinking. I'm sure you'll find it useful. What is it? Is it Roar? No, Bullet Seed. Okay. Who knows, if I have a need for it, I'll consider it. Alright, we'll keep going with the exploration here. It's this house here that we need to go to for anyone who has played Colosseum. That is Egan's house. But I do want to keep going because they do still have some of the familiar exploration spots here in Agate. Including this guy here, which gives us berries. A guave. I think that one is... yes, one of the HP but could confuse berries. Unless you are the correct nature, that berry will confuse you upon consumption, but you will still heal health. An ether, that's good. Do you give anything? Oh, you're here to see Egan? I saw him tearing around the village in a huge rush a little earlier. Maybe Balua would know where he went. Well, I guess we will still have to go to the house eventually. Come on, let's go. You say anything? Oh my, it's quite rare to see a child visitor in our village. Huh? Aren't I a kid? I may be young in body, but old in heart. Sorry, I find that so relatable. You say... villagers are all retired now, but they were all outstanding trainers in their younger days. That's why I came here. I wanted to learn the ins and outs of battling from the people here. My older brother trained here before, but he became very skilled. I hate losing to him. But when it gets right down to it, the more you battle, the tougher you become. So how about we battle? Definitely. Gotta keep that gauge draining. Also, another thing about this game too, another improvement, the trainer models in this game are a lot more dynamic. Like, most of them in Colosseum, they're like standing straight, slightly hunched over with their arms out, in most cases. And this time, not only do they have more dynamic poses, they will actually react. I don't think I had been bringing that up yet, but they will react to the hits. And that does just add a little bit more life to the trainers, which I think is really cool. Alright, Azurill down. No experience markers given. But I shouldn't have to worry too much here, although Poochyena is starting to take a few hits. Yeah, since these are baby Pokemon, the offensive stats aren't too strong right now. Which is fine by me. Shadow Blitz! Oh, it feels so good to be playing Pokemon XD again. Like, I'm not kidding. I did play this game for hundreds of hours when I was a lot younger. Like, it's just one of those games where, like getting all the Shadow Pokemon and purifying them, it's something that does take a lot of time, so naturally I was very invested in that. But there were a lot of things that I did end up doing with this game. I'll probably go into those more later on. but I definitely used Pokemon XD primarily as a way to train up Pokemon. Because the Generation 3 games, they didn't really have a lot of areas in them that were like super good or consistent for getting experience on your Pokemon to train them. But in Ore here, when everything is a double battle, it's really easy to have one super strong Pokemon take everything out and let your partner reap the experience benefits. So I used Pokemon XD quite a bit as a training simulator. Oh gosh, there's no path out of the village this way. Whoa, don't startle me like that. Are you looking for a battle with me? Yeah, sure. I'll let you vent your frustrations. Bodybuilder Dosk. Alright, keeping with the... There's certainly a lot of baby Pokemon. Not that I'm complaining. It does make for easy training. Alright, Letibah is just about there. Let's take care of the Tyroke first, I guess. At least attempt to, because I know Letibah doesn't exactly have offensive stats plenty. I might actually keep the Letibah in reverse mode there. Yes, it was hyper mode in Colosseum. It's reverse mode in this one. I think I said the Colosseum was reverse mode when I brought this up last time, so whoops. Yes, we're in reverse mode. I will get you out, but I'm going to keep Letibah in reverse mode. Because I can take advantage of the gauge boost there, but I don't need... I don't really need a boost there right now. That'll get out of the gauge there by itself, no problem. Oh no, confusion. Grimer Pound! Thanks for not going after Poochyena. Alright. So we'll just do that and that. Hey, we broke through the confusion. Now take this! So with the amount of gauge that's been reduced on these two here, I'm fairly certain that they are gaining experience in the background. So it's just a cumulative total. Like, it'll keep adding up and adding up as these two fight and gain experience. And then when they're purified, they will get all that experience back in one go. So no worries, the experience is not being wasted. Take that. Aw, you survived. But you were stupid and you used Harden again. Yeah, after this, I will definitely go visit a Pokemon Center. No. Actually, if Poochyena is going to take out the final bit of health there, I'm just going to finish that hard gauge off right now. It's easier that way. Alright, there we go. Another trainer fight done. So I have a bad sense of direction. It's nothing to make fun of. I didn't say anything. I came to have a look at the Relic Stone, but they won't let me in. Now I can't find my way out of here. I'm about to cry from frustration. Oh yes. And the PDA will actually tell us when our Pokemon are ready to be purified. Another handy addition. So we don't actually have to keep looking at the stat screen or anything else otherwise. It's all good. So here we go. Another heal up here. Now, if I do remember plot progression here, we should soon be seeing some trainers with Shadow Pokemon for us to catch. And it'll definitely help fill out my team a little bit more for the moment. Like, these two are mainstays right now. Like, they're not leaving the team. But the other 4 slots are up for grabs for whichever Pokemon I want. I will say it feels weird not using my starting Pokemon because as someone who loves the evolutions, having one on my team is something I like to do whenever I can, and I'll keep using them. All right, but here we go. This is Balua here. Hello, what a darling trainer you are. I'm Balua. Did you want something of me? Oh, Egan, you say? Ah, so you've come calling to see my husband. Are you perhaps Storm? Ah, just as I thought. You are Storm. We've been expecting you. We got word about you from Lily, you see. We understand that you want to purify Shadow Pokemon. The instant my husband heard from Lily, why, you should have seen his excitement and enthusiasm. Shouting, "This calls for my services!" or some such. He went off, running to who knows where. He hasn't come back since. Speak of the devil. Huh, Balua, dear. I've got everything ready. We're ready for our visitor from the HQ lab whenever he arrives. Oh? Oh, hello, dear. Our guest, Storm, has just arrived. Oh, so you're Storm. We've been waiting. I'm Egan. I've heard everything that Lily had to say. As you know, to purify a Shadow Pokemon, it must open its heart to the trainer. While there are several approaches, battles are the best, no doubt about it. The place to do that here is in the Relic Forest, which is home to the Relic Stone. I will go ahead and wait for you there. My husband is so impatient, as you've just seen. In his days, he was hailed as the greatest trainer, but that's a long time ago. Okay. Oh, and I see a flashing TV, so this means there's a news update. Side content, really, but we bring you a breaking news item. An unidentified gang swarmed the Pokemon HQ lab and abducted Professor Crane, the head of operations. We have unconfirmed reports that one of the alleged perpetrators used a Shadow Pokemon during the raid. We will bring you updates on this story as the news breaks. So again, you don't have to watch any of the television screens, but they are there as a little extra bit of story. In all fairness, though, throughout all of my years of playing Pokemon, I don't typically talk to NPCs anymore. Just, I know so much about these games that it's like I don't really have much time to worry about talking to them. Ah, you must be Storm that Egan was talking about. I've heard that you battled to open the hearts of Shadow Pokemon. The relic is through this cave. Don't give up. So we just have to make our way through the cave here, but we do have a few test fights we have to do. I'll help you purify your Shadow Pokemon by having a battle with you. Are you ready? Yes. Cool Trainer Gorps. Again, the names. Like, if your name was Gorps, would you like that? That's what I want to know. But we got Ledybot all ready to be purified. Poochyena is the one that just needs a little bit of extra help. So we'll just take care of the Pokemon that can easily be taken out right now. It's lowest defenses, at least I think that's the case. Aha! Back when tackles still had a chance to miss. I remember those days. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have a lot of fun playing the newer Pokemon games whenever I get a chance, and, like, even Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like, I had plenty of moments playing those games where I'm like, oh, I absolutely love this. But there's just a joy with the older Pokemon games that I love coming back to time and time again. And yes, I'll definitely admit that it's nostalgia for the most part, but there's a soul, I guess, with the early Pokemon games that I feel a lot of the newer games don't necessarily do well in replicating. Like, if I could play an older Pokemon game, but with the newer mechanics and or like an expansion to the game, shall we say? Like, maybe I'd be okay with that. Okay, so another trainer. Looks like we got two more. This one and the next. Yes, we will battle. Super Trainer Jaws. Ah, yes, I think Snubble has Intimidate. So this one might be a little bit harder for me. Yeah, you definitely have to... oh, I guess no Intimidate. Yeah, you definitely have to think a lot more in double battles, which... like, I'm glad that Colosseum and XD do. Like, it lets these games stand on their own, I find. Just introducing this different dynamic of playing Pokemon. And certainly back in the day when this was like the new thing to do for Pokemon, because this was back when double battles were first brought out. Like, to think that we have double battles and they're basically a mainstay, but like 2 generations later we get rotation battles and triple battles, and they're not in the game anymore, like as far as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are concerned, but we still have double battles. Like, they are the game format that is played quite a bit. Let's do a call here just to get that last little bit of gauge going. Yeah, this one is definitely going to take a minute. These Pokemon are somewhat more defensive than what I've been dealing with. I'll definitely be glad to not have the reverse modes happening, that's for sure. I will say the animations on the moves are a lot better. Like, a lot more crisp, a lot more particle effects. Like, again, there's just so many improvements in this game that they just did right. Let's do that. And Lediba, I don't think you're going to be here too much longer, depending on how things go. So, Shadow Blitz! Get some experience while you can. Oh, Lotad. That, to me, screams Poison Fang. Well, maybe Lediba will still be around for a turn, then. Because Bubble's weak, and I'm not taking Recoil. Alright, got another turn out of this. One will do... actually, no. Lotad is almost taken care of. Don't have to worry about trying to do Poison Fang when a Shadow Blitz can do the same thing. Ah, you try to raise your defenses. Well, Lediba still has another... oh, good. I can use that to finish off the gauge. Or do I... No, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going in reverse mode here, get this fight taken care of, because this definitely took its sweet time. Oh, so close. But that's why we go tag teaming. Okay, well, unless I'm mistaken, this should take Lediba out. Yes. Might as well bring Flareon in here, because I can still get a little experience that is at least worthwhile. Depending on where Teddiursa's heart gauge is at, it might not actually get the experience if I brought it out. And while it's not a bad Pokemon for this point in the game, Teddiursa is not going to be on the team, so I want to at least try to let the experience be useful whenever possible. Oh, yes. If that happens, calling out to the Shadow Pokemon is supposed to help. But we will do a quick heal up here before the next fight. Again, just trying to let the experience go where it will matter the most. So please heal the Pokemon. Oh yes, one thing I did forget to outright mention, something that I've been doing in these low tier challenges or as I called them in the beginning, my worst final evolutions series of Pokemon. I will not be using items in battle besides Pokeballs. So no potions, no antidotes, no nothing. I will skip these in their entirety. The exception being Pokeballs, obviously, because I do need to use those. And it's because I am trying to make this challenge the toughest it can be. That's why I'm using the worst Pokemon in the game, at least in my opinion. And I'm trying to make it an even harder challenge because Pokemon games can be easy depending on how you look at it. And I've been having a lot of fun playing like this because it is making me strategize a lot more. Like, you know, get into the mechanics of the game a little bit more than what you would normally do. Okay, so Poochyena is in reverse. That is a Cacnea, and that is something I can throw a Poison Fang at. Good damage, that's half. Oh, Poison Fang! Nice hit. Knowing my luck, this is gonna poison. Hey, I got away from the poison on that one. Yes, if I remember it right. Oh, of course. I got the burn. And I'm in reverse mode too. This is not looking good for Poochyena here. If I remember right, the poison chance for Poison Sting is 40% to cause regular poison. And for Poison Fang, it's 20% chance to cause bad poison. So naturally, that is a very good move for Poochyena to be able to cause toxic poison very early on in the game. Oh no, my Pooch! You have made my Pooch burned. Let me bring out my other four-legged friend. I will get vengeance! Fluffy Tackle! Take that, Slugma. Okay. Matron, is it Ladi or Lady? Because it's like, I'm a lady, and my name is Lady. Again, the naming in this game. Okay. Close start's good to keep it with you, rather than keeping in the PC. Yep. So they will not purify... Oh, okay, that's a little bit funny. So Pokemon will not purify when they're in the PC system, obviously. So if we do want to purify Pokemon, we do have to bring them out. There are going to be other tips and tricks we can do later. But for now, the only way that we can get Pokemon purified is to have them in our party. Which is fine. Okay. Now, there was one more fight we had to do in this cave here. And it's this guy. At times, an ordinary old man. At others, a plain senior citizen. But my true identity, the legendary trainer. He can beat me, but only him. I'm Kron. Now, for the sake of your shadow Pokemon, we shall have a hot battle. Bring it on. Fun old... That's your trainer name, is Fun Old Man. Again, the naming conventions in this game are either weird, what the heck, or very funny. Or a combination thereof. But anyways, let's deal with this. I'm just going to attack the Abra right now. Because A, you've got punches, which is great for Abra in this generation. And B, you have paper-thin defenses. I will definitely love to start getting levels on these Pokemon when I get a chance. Aw, and that still didn't take you out. And now I'm in reverse mode. Now, being that there are a lot of Shadow Pokemon in this game, It was somewhat difficult to whittle it down to the list of Pokemon that I did kind of pick for myself in this game. Also, how dare you destroy my Ladybug? So you might be thinking, well, what kind of criteria helped determine that? Well, one of the big ones is timing with which you obtain the Pokemon in the game, because you definitely want to start getting a full team by about the midway point of the game. And at that point, most Pokemon would be fully evolved. So I typically exclude them if they're past the halfway point of the game. But then afterwards, I'm like, okay, well, they're going to evolve no matter what. So I look at the fully evolved Pokemon and think, okay, what is it that makes these Pokemon like worse off than others? And it can come down to base stats, move pool, stats. I just said stats twice there. I'm not sure. Editor me, go ahead and have a little chuckle if that's the case. But yeah, types, stats, move pool, general things you'd look at. Now, it might be a common case of thinking, okay, just pick the 6 lowest base stats and that's your team of 6. It can happen, but that's not necessarily the case. And I will say, I did try to be clear in my okay, I think this is a reason why these Pokemon are the worst of the worst. And I would think about okay, how do these types typically fare throughout the game? Do they have a lot of helpful moves? Do they have things that can either be offensive or defensive? Typically speaking, the Pokemon aren't necessarily the strongest offensive, because that's the only way you tend to get Pokemon knocked out in this game, is by reducing their HP to 0. So I'd say for the most part, offensive stats are the case. I would honestly say Mightyena might be one of the more stronger attacking stats on the final hopeful team. But even then still, you just have to think, okay, how are these Pokemon going to fare in battle, especially towards the end game, and also especially considering I'm going to be dealing with a lot of teams that are really good for double battles. Good, the cologne case. So we can use that to buy the scents from the marts to help reduce the gauges on our shadow Pokemon when the time comes. But yeah, just looking through all of those various components, and I did look at a lot of tier lists and opinion pages about certain Pokemon, just so I could kind of get a little bit of a baseline going. But it is all those factors that lead into my decisions as to which Pokemon might end up on the team. And I will say that there are some types that just don't fare well in these early generations. It's not till later generations that you might think, oh, this type finally became an actual type. One thing you might think of in this game is, with a few exceptions, the bug type. Oh, you're a naughty nature. Okay. So a few bugs in this game have the potential to be on this team. I did want to try and vary up the team a little bit, and I was thinking, okay, which of the bugs are better suited to fighting than others? And I have at least 2 that I feel would be good for this team. As you can tell, one is already on this team, so I'll keep the other one a little bit more in the dark for now. And there are a few other picks that I've thought, okay, let's try to have a little fun here as well, if I can say okay, this Pokemon isn't really a good pick for the game in general. If I could justify it, then I'm okay, it's going to be on the team, let's have a little bit of fun with it. But that'll come up a lot later. Anyways, Teddy Ursa has picked something up, and we got a free Paralyze heal. Nice. So having a Pokemon with pickup on your team is a good way to just get those extra items, maybe a little bit more money too. But anyways, one of my favorite locations and one of my favorite songs in the game, the Relic Forest. Storm, welcome. Although I will say the tune from XD here is slightly different than the one they played in Colosseum. I don't know, it's just a slightly different pitch. But it's still the same theme. I love it all the same. Your shadow Pokemon should be ready to open its heart after the battles you've waged getting here. Now I shall be your opponent. And here is my partner, the one Pokemon that I caught as my first, and that has stayed with me ever since. Go, Pikachu! Off we go to our first battle in 5 years. Let's keep things tight! What did we say about using modern-day slang, Egan? But yes, this is the same Pikachu from Colosseum now here in XD. And it's not the level 50 Pikachu that we faced before. Justifiably, it hasn't battled in 5 years. Its level is kind of reduced. But it is something that makes me go, like, think of it like this. Also, Thunderbolt, you jerk. Thanks for not hitting Ledybot at least, but you took out Poochyena. I don't like that. Go, my Flareon. But if you think about a lot of modern Pokemon games, like we judge a lot of the strength of what we have to face in the levels of the opposing Pokemon. What do you think a Pokemon game would be like where you would not be able to see the levels of your opponent's Pokemon? Like, the way I see it... Ouch. I'm getting decimated by this Pikachu. The way I see it, how are you able to tell the levels of your opponent's Pokemon? Like, how can you, as a player in the game, see that total? And I'm thinking, like, should we even be able to see the levels? Because it would make you think, okay, what if we're like this trainer, we're going along, we'll, like we have levels, we're able to see that because we need a way to quantify our strength. But what if you just come along a random trainer and you think, oh, this trainer looks like easy pickings, you know? And they come along and they've got like a Rattata. You can't see the strength, but you're like, okay, they've got one Pokemon, this will be no problem. But then this Rattata starts busting out quick attacks and hyper fangs and taking you out like it's like a training day at the park. Like, you shouldn't have any way to indicate the strength of the opposing Pokemon other than just the arbitrary knowledge that you as a third player get from looking at their stat screen. I think it would be a lot more fun in Pokemon games if either there's no way to tell the level, or there's a way to at least identify a strength compared to your average level, or there's a way to tell from the actions of the Pokemon that they're like, oh, are they actually like tough, or are they like fresh caught Pokemon? Anyways, I'd like to know, like, let me know your opinions. I'm genuinely curious. Anyways, my goodness, it was a white-hot experience, our battle. And to defeat my Pikachu, that takes real skill. Pika Pika! Now let's see how your shadow Pokemon is doing. Ah, this Pokemon is on the verge of opening its heart to you. You've done a good job looking after it. Now you should use the power of the Relic Stone to finally open that shadow Pokemon's heart completely. Well, they are fainted from battle, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright. Yeah, they're just fainted. They can still walk around. But, here we go. Shadow Poochyena is now a regular Poochyena! And of course, they do play the animation a little bit before they start the jingle, and also a slightly more dynamic camera angle than what they had in Colosseum. Poochyena opened the door to its heart. And now it regains 2 moves that replace the shadow moves. So we get Dig and Heal Bell. Usually the move that appears in the second slot is a like very unique move that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to learn. You're going to see Refresh and Heal Bell a lot if you play this game, but it's not always the case. So 938 experience, that should get me at least like 2 levels. Elevated to level 11. And elevated to level 12. Alright, and if that jingle plays, you know you're done. And we get a ribbon for our trouble. Alright, it is time to nickname our Pokemon. Now, I'll be honest, I am someone who is terrible at thinking up nicknames on the spot. So between episodes, I actually took some time and tried to think up some nicknames for Poochyena and Ladybah. They could be thematically appropriate. There could be some meaning to it, but I had to think ahead of time to be able to get the name. So in doing a little bit of research on Poochyena, I came across a little bit of its naming convention. So naturally you'd think it's based on Pooch and Hyena, which is how the English name came about. But the Japanese name takes a inspiration from a common name that is typically given to dogs named Pochi. So like Poochyena. So I thought, you know what? This actually sounds adorable. So we are giving the name of Pochi or Poochie, just depending on how I emphasize it. But we got Poochie here. Or Pochi. I'm going to try to at least do my best to say Pochi. Pochi. even now, I'm still having to practice. But Pochi is going to be the name of Poochyena and even Mightyena once it evolves. So welcome, Pochi. All right. And once we've done our first purification here, well done. That Pokemon has finally returned to its former self. For the time being, we should return to my house. Oh, I need to purify my Ladyball. No. This is a cause for celebration. You've successfully purified your first Shadow Pokemon without incident. Still, one can't be too happy, not with the knowledge of Professor Crane's abduction. You see, he was a frequent visitor of Agate up to several years ago. He was conducting extensive research into the Relic Stone, you see. He said that it was for completing an entirely new purifying system that his friend thought up. I wonder where the kidnappers have made off with Professor Crane. It must be worrisome for you too. About the abduction, dear. Didn't you need to mention what Vander saw? Oh, yes, that's right. I need to tell you about Vander. We have a friend by the name of Vander who lives on Mount Battle, which is a place for training for trainers. Vander claims to have seen sinister characters out in the desert, where few people dare to tread. Ah yes, Mount Battle. This is how early it appeared in this game. So unlike Colosseum, where Mount Battle was like the third last area you'd get to in the main game, or close to even, maybe fourth. As you can tell, it's the 5th place we're going to, and it's going to be open to us super early, so if we need training, the game gives us a nice little safety blanket. Sounds intriguing, yes? Mount Battle is to the northeast. Be sure to visit. Okay, well, we are good to go. Oh yes, Storm. May I have your PDA number? Fine. If I hear of anything, I'll make certain to get in touch with you. Yes, I think if I remember correctly, there's even a comedic thing that happens later with him using the PDA, but that's much later in the game from my memory. Let me check the mart now. Do you carry Pokeballs? Not yet. Still waiting. They'll eventually appear, I know that. This game, you can actually buy Pokeballs in every Pokemart, and not just in the outskirts stand from Colosseum. That would be really bad if that were the case. You just have to make do with all the Pokeballs you get naturally throughout the game's items boxes. Alright, we are now making our way to get Ladybah purified. Alright. Ladybah! Be at peace. And there we go. Ladybah has been purified. Ladybah opened the door to its heart. What did we get back for our trouble? Gain move. Psybeam! Okay, that's good. Big fan of psychic moves and psychic Pokemon, as most people probably know. We got a level 11. Nothing in the offensive stats, but I'm glad we're just getting levels regardless. Get me to my evolution soon, please. I need the boost. Oh, shoot. Hang on, I think there's a name raider in town. I need to give you a nickname. I must give you a nickname. I'm so used to not nicknaming my Pokemon. Like, I've been doing it for all of my Pokemon playthroughs in this game. And even then, like, that's what's helped me realize I am terrible at thinking of nicknames for Pokemon on the spot. But you know what? I'm embracing it. I'm having fun with this. So I think, hello, hello, I'm the name raider. There we go. Please rate your Pokemon's nicknames. Please. I must give this Ledyba a nickname. It's funny how, like, I know it's just the text and they don't want to have a unique text line for Pokemon that are just their species names. But it's funny how they think that I just nicknamed them their species name. Well, anyways, it is time for Ledyba's nickname here. Now, for anyone who has watched my Colosseum playthrough, I nicknamed the Ledion that I had in that playthrough Sora. And if I am remembering it right, it is because I was talking about the Kingdom Hearts series of games when I was on my way to purifying Ledion. And I think I was just like, you know what? Sora means sky. Ledyba is a flying bug. So I'm like, you know what? It's Sora the Ledion. Now, I wanted to keep the naming convention roughly the same. And I did kind of know ahead of time, like, I knew Ledyba was going to show up on the team, and I was trying to think of ideas. And I read up the trainer's name that you took the Pokemon from, Sile, I believe. In my head, I read that as Kyle, and then thinking the Kingdom Hearts reference again, I was thinking Kyle, Kyrie? And I know that Kyrie is named for sea, so I'm thinking, wait a second, Seaport, sea name, that would be great if Ledyba was a female. But then I'm thinking, well, what do I do if the nickname for Ledyba was a male? And I'm thinking, wait a second, I've already used Sora. Why not just keep the Kingdom Hearts reference? And I'm nicknaming this Ledyba Riku, which for anyone who doesn't know, that name means Earth, which is an ironic nickname, but Riku still sounds good. And I'm just gonna say this right now. I have only ever played one Kingdom Hearts game in my life, and that was Melody of Memory on the Nintendo Switch, so I am not a Kingdom Hearts fanatic. I am just someone who has played the Compendium game, even though it was a rhythm game. But either way, this is Riku the Ledyba, eventually Riku the Ledion. Done. From now on, this Pokemon shall be known as Riku. It's a name that's vastly superior than before. Keep treating your Riku with love and affection. Alright. Well, we are just about on the hour mark here, and I suppose this would be a good time to take another break, because we did have a new area become available to us. So why don't we begin the next episode with the exploration to the new areas? And I know that very soon we will be finding more Shadow Pokemon to battle and capture. So I think that would be a great opportunity for the next episode. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this. It's still a little slow at the beginning right now. We got some battles in, which was great, and we've got our first two primary members of the team purified and ready to go. They'll get experience, they'll level up, and hopefully they'll soon evolve. And we'll definitely get more members on the team soon, but that will have to come in the future. So hopefully you will join me on the next episode. So until then, thank you very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed. Take care, stay safe, and have a good day.